Alright, so here we are in Maya. So the very first step is going to be setting up our reference image. Alright, so I'm going to press spacebar, and in the side view, I'm going to use my roller to kind of zoom out. In my side view, I'm going to go to View and Image Plane and Import Image. And I'm going to go find my alien image and bring it in. Alright, so the next thing I want to do is select it and scale it up. So let's go ahead and just scale this guy up. Something like that. Grab our transform tool and just kind of move it out of the way. And as you can see in my perspective view, I have this green box, which is a camera. And by the way, if you don't have this, you can just double click on the attribute editor right here to have the same properties, attribute editor properties. Alright, so the camera we don't need, and I'm going to hide it. And I could see, I don't see it here. Alright, so one other thing we need to do is make sure that we don't select or keep selecting our reference image during the modeling process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select it once, go to my channel box, and in my layers, while this is selected, I'm going to click on this button right here, which creates a layer. And now using this layer, we can control our reference image. So let's name this reference. And as you can see, I can make it visible, or I can make it as a template. So it's just a wireframe template, or as a reference. So reference is what I want. So now I have it in the scene, but I can't select it. Fantastic. So I'm gonna click spacebar to go inside my perspective viewport. And let's go ahead and start with this space gun. Now, using our polygons, our primitives, we can see which one is best, will be best to start with. I think it's going to be this polygon pipe, because this sort of is a pipe, and inside obviously it's hollow, so this big plasma ball can fly out of it. So I'm going to click on that. And holding down Shift key, I'm going to create my pipe and then let it go and drag to create the thickness. So something like that. Now I'm going to go to my attribute editor, and under poly pipe I'm going to turn this down to maybe 10. I think 10 is a good number. And we want to kind of keep this character low poly so we can use this in the mobile game as well. Maybe an iPad or an iPhone, or Android game. So let's keep our poly count to a sort of a minimum. Keep it nice and light. The next thing I want to do is turn up my height to maybe, I say 4. 4 is a good number, and that will give us the opportunity to control these loops and kind of create that tapered look. Alright, so let's now rotate. Now when we rotate, we can do two things. We can rotate by clicking on this button, and if we don't want to click on the button, we can press E on our keyboard. Here's the shortcut for it right here. And same thing for scale and transform. So the move tool could be accessed quickly by pressing W, pressing E to access the rotate, and if you just hover over it, it will tell you. And the scale is right here, R. So it might be a good thing to get used to pressing the keyboard. It's much faster. So I kind of tend to do both. So right now I'm going to go to E. And instead of just rotating this like this, not knowing exactly how much I'm rotating, I'm going to double click on this, and in my step snap, see right here there's a snap, if I hold down the J key, right, this gets activated, and in here I can type in the number of snap angle I need. So in my case I like 15, so I'm going to leave it at 15. So I'm going to hold down J, and I'm going to grab this top axis here and just rotate it, and you see how it snaps evenly? That's exactly what I want. Now I'm going to hold down the Alt key and drag to kind of look around. Alright, I'm pretty happy with this. Let's grab our scale tool and just kind of drag it, make it a little longer. And looking at my reference, the left edge is obviously much larger than this side. So I'm going to right click and go to my edit mode, go to face, and let's see, my soft selection is selected. So I don't know if it is for you guys or not, but turn on your soft selection and let's put it on something like 10. And now if I click on one of the faces and double click on the one next to it, I will select the entire row. Okay, so now if I scale this down, maybe something like this, let's select all of these and scale it up. Now I can slowly start creating that shape that I need for the gun. And you know what? To do this, I'm going to turn off my self selection, right click and go to vertex, and I'm going to select all of these guys, R, and let's scale this down. Do the same thing here, select all these, press R, or I don't need to press R, I'm already in scale. Okay, so something like that. How's that? I think that looks nice. And then to exit this modeling edit mode, you want to right click on your shape and go to object mode. And when you do that, that kind of exits the editing mode. And another thing that I really like to do is turn on this guy right here, wireframe unshaded, so I can actually see my lines. That's really important in modeling, especially game modeling. And this looks really nice. And if you, as you can see, because we kind of made it low poly count, that's kind of square looking. And if you don't want to see that, you want it to be look, you know, to have kind of a softer, rounder look, select it, and under modeling tab, go to right here, mesh display, and say soft edges. All right, and that kind of softens the shape up so it looks more round. So for games, this is nice because the poly count right now is 100, which is, some people say it's okay, some people might yell that it's way too many, but in our case, I think this is perfect. Alright, so let's do this little beveled edge right there on the weapon. So to do that, I'm going to right click, go to face, click on, hold down shift, select all of these, and let's do an extrusion. So this button right here is an extrude button, so I'm going to click on it and pull this out, something like that. That gives us this nice edge, just like in the drawing. Alright, so I think this is a good start. Let's move on to the rest of the weapon in the next lesson. So I'll see you guys there.